Imagine you're like completely exhausted after a really brutal day.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right. You've tried taking a hot shower. You've tried scrolling on your phone just to zone out completely.
Yeah, the doom scroll.
Exactly. Maybe you even drank a massive cup of chamomile tea, but you still feel this, I don't know, this heavy, invisible static clinging to you.
Like a weight you just can't quite locate.
Yes. Exactly that. So what if the tool to fix that feeling wasn't a pill or, a nap or vacation, but a highly engineered metaphysical instrument?
I mean, it is a fascinating premise.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually when we think of a tool, we picture something strictly mechanical, right?
Like a hammer or something?
Yeah, a hammer hitting a nail or a wrench turning a bolt. It's a physical action leading to a visible, immediate reaction.
Totally. But what happens when the anatomy you were trying to work on, well, when it isn't physical at all?
That's the big question.
Right. What happens when the thing you need to adjust or tune or heal is completely invisible to the naked eye? So today, we are taking you on a deep dive into exactly that territory.
It's a really interesting area to explore.
It really is. We're looking at a comprehensive guide from a source called Crystals by Rob, and it's entirely focused on the metaphysical world of chakra stone selenite sticks.
Which is quite a mouthful, but very specific.
Yeah, it is. And just a quick note before we jump in. Today, we're exploring the metaphysical belief system that's presented in this guide. We aren't endorsing these concepts as hard scientific fact.
Right, we're acting as observers here.
Exactly. We're just impartially unpacking the fascinating mechanics of how this author, and really the broader crystal healing community, believes energetic anatomy actually works.
It is a profound shift in perspective, honestly, because we are stepping entirely away from the purely biological and stepping into the energetic.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because our mission today isn't just to talk about what these sticks look like sitting on a yoga studio shelf.
Right, they're not just decorations.
No, exactly. We want to understand the underlying logic here. How do they theoretically fuse mineralogy, actual stones and crystals pulled out of the earth, with spiritual anatomy to cleanse, align, and balance the human energy field?
What's fascinating here is that Rob's theory makes it very, very clear. These sticks aren't meant to be decorative paperweights.
Even though they do look really cool.
They do, yeah. But they are described as highly engineered, functional, energetic instruments. They are built to act as a bridge between the physical body that you inhabit and the subtle bodies that surround it.
Wait, okay, before we go any further.
Yeah.
What exactly is a subtle body in this context? Because if I'm just a layperson listening, are we talking about an electromagnetic field you can measure with a scientific instrument, or is this purely spiritual? Give me the explain it like I'm 5 version.
Sure, okay. Think of it like a Russian nesting doll made of energy.
Okay, I can picture that.
So in this philosophy, your physical body is just the densest, most visible layer right in the center. But surrounding it, interpenetrating it, you have these layers of increasingly fine, invisible energy.
Like invisible shells.
Exactly. You have an etheric body, an emotional body, a mental body. These are the subtle bodies.
Got it.
And they can't be measured by a standard hospital MRI, right? But in metaphysical traditions, they are believed to hold your actual emotions, your traumas, and your life force.
Okay, that makes sense. So to play devil's advocate for a second.
Please do.
A skeptic would look at one of these sticks and say, it's literally just a pretty stick of gypsum with some colorful rocks glued to it.
Which physically it is.
Right. So how does the author explain the actual mechanism that turns a rock into a high-speed energetic instrument? How does it interact with those invisible Russian nesting dolls?
Well, the underlying logic here relies on the unique properties of selenite. Even in basic geology, selenite is a crystallized form of gypsum, and it's known for its highly ordered parallel striations. It has these very straight, clear lines running through it.
Yeah, it looks almost like ice or glass.
Exactly. And in metaphysical terms, that physical structure translates to how it supposedly handles energy. The belief is that it doesn't hold on to static or negativity.
It just lets it pass through.
Better than that. It channels energy in a straight, completely uninterrupted line. It's considered a high vibrational purifying base. But, and this is key, raw selenite is just pure flow.
So it lacks direction.
Right. It needs direction to be useful as a targeted tool.
Okay, so the way I am visualizing this, and correct me if this analogy just completely falls apart.
Let's hear it.
I'm thinking of it like a fiber optic system.
Oh, I like that.
Think of the selenite base as like a high-speed fiber optic cable or even just a source of pure, blindingly white light. It's raw, uncolored, incredibly fast energy. And then the embedded chakra stones act like a series of colored lenses or prisms that are placed along that beam of light.
Yes. They take that massive, pure energy and they direct it, right? They focus it into very specific, targeted frequencies depending on the color and the mineral makeup of the specific stone.
That is actually a remarkably accurate way to frame it, really. The raw conduit energy of the selenite, as powerful as it is, needs a specific destination to perform metaphysical tasks.
Which is where the colored stones come in.
Precisely. That is where the chakra stones do their job. They provide targeted resonance.
So it's not just a shotgun blast of energy.
No, not at all. Let's say your throat chakra, which is your center of communication, is blocked. The pure light of the selenite is filtered through the blue stone on the stick, say lapis lazuli, to specifically tune that localized area.
Okay, so the selenite provides the juice and the stones provide the destination.
Exactly. Together, they create a focused, clear pathway. Because in energy work, the primary goal is almost always to prevent energetic bottlenecks.
Bottlenecks meaning what, exactly? Places where emotional or spiritual debris just gets stuck and builds up. The selenite blasts through the static, and the chakra stones ensure the energy flows exactly where the body's energy centers actually need it most.
Which naturally brings us to the effects. Knowing how this tool directs energy, we have to look at what that focused energy actually does to you when you use it.
Right, the practical outcome.
Yeah. So Rob's guide breaks this down into 3 distinct pillars of healing: emotional, energetic, and spiritual. Let's start with the emotional pillar.
Okay.
The underlying claim is that it clears emotional residue stored in specific chakras, which promotes calm and releases tension.
And then energetically, it functions as a cleansing and balancing instrument. It's used to cleanse the aura.
Which is that outer nesting doll layer.
Exactly, the outer boundary of those subtle bodies. It's used to raise your overall vibrational frequency and to clear out stagnant energy.
The text also mentions using it to seal and stabilize the aura after you've done deeper energy work, like Reiki.
Yes, that's a very common application.
Real quick, though, for someone listening who has maybe heard the word Reiki but has absolutely no idea what it is, what does that mean in this context?
Oh, sure. So Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that supposedly also promotes healing.
Okay.
It's based on the idea that an unseen life force energy flows through us. And if that energy is low, we're more likely to get sick or feel stressed.
Makes sense.
So the practitioner uses their hands, either lightly touching or just hovering over the body, to channel that energy. Using a selenite stick during Reiki is essentially like giving the practitioner a laser pointer instead of a flashlight.
Oh, wow. I love that comparison. Okay, got it. And then the third pillar is the spiritual side, where the sticks serve as conduits for higher consciousness.
Right. They help clear energetic noise and spiritual interference.
But I actually want to back up to the emotional pillar for a second, because I noticed a very specific phrase in this philosophy while I was reading the source, and it really made me pause.
Oh. What stood out to you?
The guide uses this exact phrasing. It says the sticks help restore emotional balance and clarity without emotional overwhelm.
Ah, yes.
It mentions this gentleness multiple times. It says it processes emotions safely. And I have to admit, I'm a little confused.
Why is that?
Well, why the massive emphasis on this happening without overwhelm? Are other forms of energy healing normally considered like harsh or destabilizing?
That's a really great observation. This actually raises a super important question about how emotional trauma functions within the human body in these belief systems.
Because it's not always pretty, right?
No, not at all. Releasing stored emotional trauma isn't always a peaceful, spa-like experience.
Right.
In many forms of deep energy work, when a profound blockage is suddenly removed, it can completely flood the system.
Like popping a balloon.
Yeah, or opening a floodgate. The person might experience a sudden, uncontrollable rush of grief or anger or anxiety that they had literally been suppressing for years.
Oh, wow.
It can absolutely be overwhelming, sometimes to the point of being re-traumatizing.
So it's like blowing up a dam all at once, and the town below just gets completely flooded.
Exactly. But the philosophy here is that these selenite sticks are ideal for sensitive individuals and empaths because they don't blow up the dam.
They're more controlled.
Right. The specific combination of selenite's pure, fast-moving energy with the structured, step-by-step alignment of the chakra stones, it acts as a built-in safety valve.
Oh. I see.
It slowly opens the spillway, it clears the emotional residue, and processes it safely so the person doesn't get flooded by their own released tension.
Okay, but you mentioned that this tool prevents emotional flooding. Physically, where does all that released emotional water actually go?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right, it has to drain somewhere. And here's where it gets really interesting. According to this guide, the reason you don't get overwhelmed is because your energy system isn't a closed loop trapped inside your physical body.
It's not just contained in the skin.
Exactly. It vents out into a much larger cosmic system. And to understand that, we have to look at the energetic map these stones are interacting with.
Which is much bigger than most people realize.
Yeah. If you are familiar with standard yoga, you probably know the classic 7-chakra system. But this guide outlines a 9-chakra system.
Yes, it expands the anatomical map significantly beyond the physical body.
Just to quickly ground us, the framework does cover the traditional 7.
Right.
You have the root chakra at the base of the spine for grounding, the sacral chakra in the lower abdomen for emotional flow and creativity, the solar plexus in the stomach for personal power, the heart chakra for compassion, the throat chakra for communication, the third eye on the forehead for intuition.
And the crown chakra.
Right, at the top of the head for higher consciousness. But then it adds 2 massive bookends to this system.
And those bookends are completely crucial to understanding why the emotional flooding doesn't happen.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, below the root chakra, actually hovering beneath your feet, is the earth star chakra. And above the crown chakra, hovering over your head, is the soul star chakra.
Let's talk about the Earth Star first, because we usually think of the root as the absolute bottom, right? The floor of the human system.
Right. In a standard 7-chakra system, it is the floor. But the Earth Star chakra goes deeper. It's described as the energetic bridge between the human energy field and the Earth itself.
So it's outside the body.
Exactly. It doesn't just anchor your energy into your physical body. It anchors your body, mind, and spirit directly into the planet's stabilizing frequencies.
Okay, so if the standard 7 chakras are the wiring inside your house, the Earth Star is like the grounding wire driven deep into the dirt outside.
That is the perfect analogy, yes. And without that grounding wire outside the house, a massive power surge, or, in this case, a sudden release of emotional trauma fries the entire electrical system inside.
Which causes that overwhelm we talked about.
Exactly. The Earth Star is where that excess energy drains safely.
That makes total sense. And then on the total opposite end of the spectrum, hovering above the roof of the house, is the soul star chakra.
The upper bookend.
Right. The text calls this the gateway between the individual soul and higher consciousness. So to keep using our house analogy, this is the satellite dish on the roof pulling down a universal signal.
Beautiful way to put it.
It connects your personal awareness to divine wisdom, universal truth, and something it calls soul memory.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what the source is actually arguing here is that we are an open circuit.
Open circuit!
Yes. We are literally plugged into the earth below us and the cosmos above us. And the belief is that you cannot achieve full spectrum balance unless both of those vital anchors, the grounding wire and the satellite dish, are totally secure.
That open circuit idea is just wild to think about,
Yeah.
and it perfectly transitions into the next part of the guide, which I found totally mesmerizing.
The associations.
Yes. Mapping these 9 energy centers isn't just about anatomical placement, like where they sit on the body.
No, it goes much deeper.
The source text connects every single one of these 9 centers to a massive, intricate web of universal elements. It weaves together like astrology, mythology, botany, and the animal kingdom.
It provides a really comprehensive catalog of associations. It's essentially showing how the macrocosm, the entire universe, is reflected in the microcosm of the human energy field.
But the thing is, it's not just a random list of things. The logic behind why these associations exist is brilliant. Let's look at the botany, for example.
Okay.
For the root and earth star chakras, the ones anchoring us to the ground, the botanical links are incredibly earthy and dense. We're talking about ashwagandha root, ginger root, turmeric, dandelion root.
Which is so fitting. I mean, think about how those specific plants grow, right?
They're all roots.
Exactly. Turmeric and ginger are thick, dense, heavy rhizomes. They're buried deep in the dirt, absorbing earthly nutrients.
Yeah.
The underlying logic here is based on something called the doctrine of signatures.
What?
It's the ancient idea that a plant's physical characteristics reveal its energetic purpose. So consuming or working with their frequency biologically mimics that grounding, anchoring effect in your own energy system.
Wow. And if you contrast that with the highest chakras, the crown and the soul star, The associations shift dramatically.
They do.
The herbs become totally ethereal things like blue lotus, gotu kola, lavender. I mean, blue lotus literally floats on top of the water, opening its petals to the sun, completely disconnected from the heavy dirt at the bottom of the pond.
Exactly. It's reaching upwards. And the planetary associations mirror this perfectly, too.
Oh, right.
The root is governed by Saturn and Mars, which are very heavy, structured, forceful planets associated with gravity and basic survival.
Right.
But the higher centers are governed by Jupiter and Uranus. Those are planets associated with massive expansion, higher learning, and sudden spiritual awakenings.
Okay, I have to point out an observation I made while looking through these lists, because there is this brilliant pattern regarding the spirits and elements associated with these chakras as you move up the body.
Oh yeah, the elemental progression.
Yes, it's a literal progression from dense matter to pure light, and it tracks perfectly with human psychology.
Walk us through it.
Okay, so down at the root, an earth star, the element is earth. But the associated spirits are gnomes, dwarfs, trolls, and leprechauns.
Literally mythical beings of dirt, stone, and subterranean caves.
Right. Very grounded, heavy beings. Then you move up one step to the sacral chakra, which governs emotional flow. The element there becomes water.
Makes sense for emotion.
Exactly. And the spirits shift to undines, nymphs, mermaids, and fairies of ponds and lakes.
So the density of the element is lightning. We've gone from solid rock to liquid water.
Exactly. Then you hit the solar plexus, which is the center of personal power and willpower. The element is fire, and the spirits, salamanders and fire drakes.
The energy is getting more active, more volatile.
Yes. And then from the heart chakra all the way up through the throat, third eye, crown, and soul star, the element shifts entirely to air and spirit.
The lightest elements.
Right. And the associated spirits for all of those upper chakras are sylphs, zephyrs, and fairies of the winds.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what you're observing is a mirror of the human psychological journey.
How so?
Well, this progression perfectly encapsulates how we develop as individuals. We begin in the dense, earthly reality of mere physical survival. That's the root chakra, just making sure we have food and shelter.
Right, the basics.
Then we move up into the fluidity of the sacral chakra, where we start experiencing and feeling our complex emotions. That's the water element.
Right, but you can't just float in your emotions forever. You have to actually do something with them.
Precisely, which leads to the fire of the solar plexus. We take those emotions and we forge them into individual willpower and action. Yes. But even willpower has its limits if it's purely selfish, right? So eventually, we ascend into the heart, the throat, the crown. We move into the light, ethereal realms of universal compassion, communication, and cosmic consciousness.
The realm of air and spirit.
Exactly. The guide isn't just randomly listing mythical creatures from a fantasy novel. It's mapping the psychological ascension of the human mind.
That makes so much sense. And it does something incredibly similar with the animal associations, too.
Oh, the animal totems?
Yeah. Down at the Earth Star and root, the animals are heavy and terrestrial. The cow, the bull, the horse, the ant, the bear.
Animals that literally pull plows, or animals that hibernate deep in the dirt.
Right, but when you get to the heart chakra, it introduces the eagle, the raven, and the spider. And the crazy thing is, those three animals remain the core association all the way up to the soul star.
That overlap is so fascinating because of what those animals represent across various mythologies.
Right, they aren't just random choices.
No. The eagle and raven represent literal flight, broad perspective, and acting as messengers between worlds, which fits the upper chakras perfectly. They see the entire landscape from above, not just the dirt right in front of them.
And the spider.
The spider is almost universally associated with the weaving of reality and fate. It links to that intricate, interconnected web of higher consciousness.
So what does this all mean? We've talked about fiber optic light conduits, processing emotional trauma, 9 chakra cosmic circuits, and communicating with zephyrs and fire drakes.
It is a lot to take in. It's a vast cosmic map.
It really is. But how do you actually take a metaphysical tool tied to the archangels and planets and apply it on a random Tuesday when you're just feeling stressed out after a terrible Zoom call with your boss?
That is the most crucial part of Rob's framework, I think. Because for all its metaphysical depth and complexity, the practical application is remarkably grounded.
Thank goodness.
Right. You don't need to perform an elaborate 3-hour ritual to use these sticks. The guide outlines very specific, actionable methods, and they're divided into active and passive uses.
Okay, let's talk about the active uses first.
So actively, you can simply sweep the stick over your body, You don't even need to physically touch your skin.
Because it's working on the aura.
Exactly. Because it theoretically works on the aura. That first layer of the invisible nesting doll we talked about, sweeping it a few inches away from the body, helps clear that heavy, stagnant static you mentioned at the very beginning of the show.
Oh, that makes sense.
Practitioners also place them directly on the physical body during healing sessions to align those specific 9 centers we discussed. Or you can also just hold them in your hands during a basic meditation to amplify your intention setting.
Okay. And then there are the passive uses, which I honestly love because they require literally 0 effort.
Passive's always nice.
Yeah. You can just keep one of these sticks in your home or workspace for ongoing energetic cleansing. It just works in the background, like a filter.
Right.
You can place them on a desk or a sacred space to amplify spiritual clarity. And interestingly, because selenite is viewed as such a powerful purifier, the guide says you can actually use these sticks to cleanse and recharge other crystals.
It essentially acts as an energetic battery and a constant environmental filter simultaneously.
And I really want to emphasize the versatility here for the listener. The text specifically notes that these are perfect for both total beginners and advanced energy workers alike.
Which is important. It's not gatekept.
Exactly. You do not need a PhD in metaphysics or astrology to use this. You don't have to memorize the planetary association of the sacral chakra or even know what a zephyr is to benefit from it.
Right.
You can just keep one on your nightstand for everyday energetic maintenance.
The tool theoretically does the work, provided you are open to the resonance it offers. It is designed to be highly accessible, regardless of your depth of esoteric knowledge.
So, to bring it all together, we started by looking at the mechanical theory of this tool, the pure, purifying fiber optic conduit of selenite, combined with the targeted prismatic focus of embedded chakra stones.
Right.
We explored how that combination creates a safe, gentle pathway for emotional, energetic, and spiritual healing. It acts as a pressure valve that prevents emotional flooding, especially for sensitive individuals.
And then we expanded the map entirely. We moved from the traditional 7 chakras to a 9-chakra open circuit. We learned why we need to anchor into the Earth star below like a grounding wire and the Soul star above like a satellite dish.
We navigated the incredible web of universal elements, tracking the psychological journey of human consciousness from earthy survival up through watery emotions, fiery willpower, and finally into the ethereal realm of spirit.
It's quite a journey.
It really is. And finally, we brought it right back down to earth with practical, everyday applications for your living room or workspace.
It's a remarkable synthesis of ancient metaphysical concepts and practical daily care. But before we finish, I think this framework leaves us with something to really think about regarding that passive application we just discussed.
Oh, absolutely. What are you thinking?
Well, the philosophy asserts that selenite can naturally cleanse and recharge other objects, and that simply having it in a room clears stagnant energy.
Right.
So if you were to introduce just a single chakra stone selenite stick into your home without ever actively meditating with it, without doing any conscious chakra work at all,
Just leaving it there.
yeah, how might it passively shift the unseen energetic ecosystem of the spaces where you spend the most time? What happens to the invisible immune system of your home when a tool of pure, focused resonance is just sitting quietly on the coffee table?
Wow. It brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? The idea of an invisible tool working on an invisible anatomy. Only this time, the anatomy isn't just inside you. It's the very room you're sitting in. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Keep questioning the unseen, and we'll catch you next time.